Okay, since the last video kind of cut off at the end, I'm just going to review this part quickly. So we're looking at shifts in person now. So how does that match? Are you matching for masculine, feminine, neuter, and the number? So in this case, well, let's read the sentence. Unlike the man, the Hopi woman does not keep contact with Kachinas through costumes and dancing. Instead, one receives a small likeness of a Kachina called a tihu from the man impersonating the Kachina. You're more likely to receive a tihu as a girl approaching marriage, though a child or older woman may receive one too. So let's just look at the underlined words in this paragraph. The Hopi woman, and then the very next sentence, instead, one receives a small likeness. So this is referring back to the previous sentence. So you don't want to use one, you want it to match in person woman. So which one of the pronouns is the feminine, right? So I, you, he, she, it, we, they. And it's the subject of the sentence, so it's in the form of she. So instead, she receives a small likeness of a Kachina. And then again in this last sentence, you are more likely to receive. So in this case, it sounds like now all of a sudden that the writer is talking to us directly, and that's not the purpose of this piece, which is just describing this factual piece of information. So instead of you, again, this is referring back to who's receiving this. It's women or girls, right? And so we want that pronoun to match. So we can go back, and it's the subject, so we go back to she, and we have to make sure that the verb matches. So now not she are, but how are you going to match that verb? She is more likely to receive a tihu as a girl approaching marriage, though a child or older woman may receive one too. So let's go down now in the practice to shifts in person, and that's this first section. The following sentences contain illogical shifts between the second person and the third person. Edit each sentence so that it uses third person pronouns consistently. If necessary, be sure to change the verb to make it agree with the new subject. So let's look at this first one. Young people who want a career in the fashion industry do not always realize how hard you will have to work. So let's look at what's the subject of this sentence. It's people, right? And young people is the complete subject. And so this next phrase just describes young people who want a career in the fashion industry. Do not always realize, so the verb do matches people. How hard? Okay, now this is where we get into trouble, right? So does this pronoun, what's it referring to? They don't realize how hard you will have to work. So it's really referring back to themselves, right? Young people don't always realize how hard, so this is plural, right? And it's the third person, so how are we going to match this? Because it's not talking about us, it's talking about the young people. And it's plural, so instead of you, don't realize how hard they will have to work. So can you see how this, you have to find, where are the pronouns that are out of whack, match them to the subject or the noun that they are referring to, and then make sure that they match and that you have it correct and between the second and the third person. So go ahead and pause the recording and go ahead and try the rest of these. And then at the end, just go back and check those again, all of them, to make sure that you're okay. And then the rest of your homework for Sherry, you'll hand this in so that she has a chance to check your work. And then she wants you to go into the They Say, I Say, your textbook on chapters 1, 2, and 3, which are pages 17 to 50 in your book, and she wants you to read those and take notes. And the due date is February 12th. She wants you to write notes for each of the chapters. And the note shouldn't just be a mindless outline of the chapters, but make comments on new ideas or good reminders that you found as you were reading. So these notes are going to be for you, not for Sherry. So she doesn't really mind what form they're in. They can be handwritten lists or they can be typed notes. She's going to take a look at the notes on February 12th and mark the task has been completed, but she's not going to collect them. So, make it meaningful for you, something that you can use to study from. And then you're going to keep, at the end she'll check your work on these papers, but you're going to keep them so that you're familiar with those ideas of consistency, intent, number, and person, right? And she's going to be looking that you start to incorporate this into your writing. So when you start to write, you want to go back now and check your sentences that you're writing and say, was I consistent in tense, in the number, and the person as I'm writing? So she's going to want to see that start to happen or improve within your papers. And that you're likely to have a quiz on these three categories of consistency when she returns to class with you all. So I hope that this was useful and that you take the time to look at these carefully, work with your classmates, check your work with them, make sure that you understand how to look out for these illogical shifts and that your writing gets better just by that simple check for consistency across these three areas. So good luck and take care.